So standing where we are, Building A is our biggest single building. It's everything from classrooms to library to performing arts areas, cafeteria, common space, and high school offices. Over here we have what's called the B building. That has our industrial arts in it, primarily wood shop and metal shop. Right here in front of us is Building C. This is our science building. And then over here is our gym building. The great majority of our classrooms all exit directly outside, and so when students come and go all day long, which turns out to be thousands of times a day, doors are opened and closed. When you have standalone buildings, you have a lot more exterior walls, and so you have a lot more opportunity for energy loss, and then just for a lot more surface, in a sense, to keep up. With the same square footage, but in a single complex, you're obviously reducing a lot of your exterior walls because you share a lot of inside space. All of our door hardware has rapidly come to the end of its life. And there's different issues with our door hardware because of the vintage it is. If we ever found ourselves in a school safety situation where we needed to lock down our campus, there's no interior way for teachers to secure their rooms. They have to open doors and lock them from outside and then close them again to actually secure their buildings.
It's really, really difficult to manage the supervision of all of the students, all the teenagers here, when there are so many accesses and doors and passageways and things. So we're required to plan and drill and have a reasonable expectation that a lockdown would be possible. And not only just possible, but effective. And with some of the doorways, how they work, and the locks, those old locks, and the windows and the window coverings, and having an immediate response lockdown here is really, really difficult. And it's one of the real important reasons to have a more solidified campus.
Because we have all of these different outlying buildings where kids go all day long, there's a lot of traffic, not just between the buildings, but across parking lots and through the parking lots. And so major thoroughfares for pedestrian traffic are shared by major thoroughfares for vehicle traffic. And so if there was a way to incorporate all of our educational needs into an area where there didn't have to be this cross of pedestrian traffic across the parking lot to other buildings, it would be great.
So this is a classroom located in our A building. It's a pretty typical classroom for our core classes. You can see that it's sort of a pie shape or trapezoidal type shape, which really limits the way you can arrange the furniture and the desks. You can see just with no students and no backpacks that with all the desks in here, it's a pretty crowded space to begin with. So this is one issue that we have to deal with, is the available space in our classrooms. This classroom is fortunate in that it has a bank of windows that actually look into the library, which helps with lighting. But in this set of classrooms, I believe there's 13 total in this building of instructional spaces. There's one right across from this classroom that has no bank of windows. The only light source that they have from the exterior is the door window. We've had issues with ventilation, heating, just general comfort. Obviously, if you look into the research on all of what they say about the brain research and learning, is that the lighting and air quality all have a significant impact on student learning. One of the issues that we have with our classrooms is the available space for instructional purposes. This is a classroom in our B building. It was a classroom that we used to use for multiple purposes. It's our woodworking classroom, and the shop is next door. So when the fire marshal came, we were informed that we weren't able to hold classes more than a size of about 18 to 20. And since most of our core classes are 24 to 28, and actually sometimes above that, we were no longer able to use this space as a shared space. The biggest issue that we have with our track and field facility, and the stadium issue in particular, is that the track surface is the old cinder track surface. We currently are not able to host any home track and field meets because our league will not send schools over to compete on the surface. It has drainage issues, so even for our own athletes, A lot of times they have to use just the middle part of the track because the interior of the track gets flooded and bumpy, so it's unsafe, as well as the outer lanes end up with overgrowth from the tree falls out and again improper drainage on the surface. So it's a difficult surface to maintain, particularly because of the extreme weather conditions that we experience here in the Northwest. The field issues in terms of maintenance, we have similar issues with wear and tear on the field because so many groups are currently using the facility. It requires a lot of maintenance to keep it in a playable condition. The issues with the grandstands, they're currently not ADA compliant. The access to the facility is very difficult. The lighting is very poor. The only restroom facilities that we have for our sports fans and others who are out using the facility are actually in the gym foyer.
We're here in the downstairs at Chautauqua in the telephone room, or we call it the telco room. And what we're looking at here is an old phone system circa mid-1990s, and all throughout the school district are these old Nortel Meridian PBX systems. And so what we're looking to do with the bond is to replace these aging systems. Basically, these things are so old that we can't get new parts for them. This is the phone system for the district office. This box right here would replace this entire unit in supporting this whole school. Really, the wiring is substandard and not really set up, particularly here in Chautauqua, for really doing the kind of things that we like to do with technology, like use document cameras and projectors and so on. These buildings aren't wired for that. So part of what we're looking to do with the bond is to improve our infrastructure and improve on stuff like this that's old and outdated that we can't get parts for.